Wonderful reference we can use to explore how that trail shoulder moves in swing is to kind of track the path it moves on through backswing, and then very precisely its behaviours and movements in downswing, and then really then how it moves in transition and how it moves very much the path it moves on in downswing, and then relative back to its address position at impact. So you will see here, for example, as we move this player through backswing, you'll see that kind of red path display on screen is shown by that circle on screen. That red path is tracking the three-dimensional movement of that kind of trail shoulder through swing, but certainly observed in many of the very advanced and often the very best players, the best movers, that there's a very defined profile of that trail shoulder in transition. We start to then see, as shown by the orange line as they move into downswing, how that trail shoulder moves downwards in transition, and then around about in those kind of early phases of downswing, once it's moved downwards, you'll then start to see a very defined change in direction or movement of that path. And now starts to move very much start almost back towards its start position at impact. So it kind of goes downwards and forwards. So as that shoulder moves downwards, as the rotation of that ribcage then starts to become certainly a lot more prevalent, it moves downwards and then forwards towards that start position. So where it's in yellow, as you'll see here, is defined by that circle on the screen, is its impact position. So it's a very defined path, how it moves down, forwards, and certainly in most of the most advanced and most accomplished players, almost back to its start position from the target line view at impact. So that's a wonderful reference we can play with. However, displaying now a very common movement often observed, say for example, more occasional players or players that there's been kind of problematic movements around that trail shoulder. As you move into backs, and once again, you'll see that red line display on the screen. And this is certainly a very prevalent movement, often observed in players that have imbalances or adaptations around how that trail shoulder moves in swing. You'll start to see in downswing now, it doesn't really move downwards, that shoulder, it starts to move kind of forward slightly in transition, so that kind of right shoulder or trail shoulder kind of moving forwards. But what's very notable, certainly compared to the more accomplished, more advanced players shown in the previous example, is when we get back to that impact positions we see here, how it hasn't got back to, from that target line view, its start position, so it gets a little, almost stays up in transition, then gets kind of very sticky, doesn't then really get back to its kind of start position at point of impact. So using that trail shoulder, tracking the path of that trail shoulder, can be a very playful way and a very exploratory way to really explore how that trail shoulder moves in swing. So once again, often a movement observed in some of the most accomplished and most advanced players, how it moves down in transition, then starts to track forwards, and often returning to its address position at point of impact from that target line view.